we're waiting to bring on board a consultant to go through all the information.
And I just want to be, at least again, from my perspective, clear. I don't think there's anything that's being done or even necessarily being proposed. There is an RFP that is still being crafted. The RFP will go out. We will get a consultant. The consultant is going to provide us with information or recommendations. We will act accordingly. And that's certainly the manner in which I think I would like to proceed. So that's,
Yeah,
What I've said before, James, and what I will continue to say is we are going to go out for a proposal to bring aboard consultants. Whatever that form of consultancy is, we're going to bring that on board. We haven't voted on yet. We haven't even sent out the RFP yet. But when we do, we will listen to what their recommendations are. And then depending on what those recommendations are, is how we move forward. But it will all be done through the process that we're supposed to do, which is through the putting it on the agenda and putting it in front of the public. And that's how we're going to move this process forward. So I'm not going to preface any position before the consultants bring us their recommendations.
that's it, James. Let's get the RFP on. Let's get a consultant in here and let's find out what they come up with.
And we are not going to, in my opinion, this is me, we're not going to make any changes right now until we get some guidance from the consultants. When we hire consultants, they're going to guide us on what the future direction of all this.
That's fine, but
With all due respect, we continue to plow the same field over and over again. We're going to wait until we get some guidance from our consultants when we hire them as to what the future of this all is going to be.
It's like some clarity now on what just transpired. Did the commissioners vote to suspend the bylaws of the library board?
I believe that was done in executive session. So we're going to wait for the action from the library consultant.
to echo what Chairman Miller indicated, the idea is it's going to start with the RFP, providing once we get some insight from that to determine what next steps are. So I don't want to presuppose that there's a destination, so to speak. I want to be clear that that RFP is going to guide next steps, and that's why we have an RFP, to provide getting a consultant to give us the full picture of what those could be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other thing is we were hoping to have it done by the first of the year.
Yep.
Do the other two commissioners want to see it become a 501c3?
I'm not going to we're not going to make that decision right now, James, because we haven't put it on the agenda to discuss.
I'm not going to take a position until I understand what is provided by our, I mean, this is the whole point of the process, so that's going to be what's guiding it.
I am going to wait until the consultant comes back with recommendations.
Agreed. The whole purpose of having an RFP for a consultant is to obtain a consultant who has a broad experience, who understands how things are done in a variety of sectors, particularly within the Commonwealth, and then can guide us to understand what the options are. So everything from status quo to what perhaps Doug has suggested, and a lot of things in between. And that's why we have consultants. But I'm not going to presuppose a solution or a destination until we get some insight from the consultant.
The bookmobile is always, we just bought it. It's always going to be made better at some point, or for the county itself as a whole.
Right.
Yeah, you can see a directive given to all departments that you know, you're going to have to tighten up your belt a little bit, but
There's no concern of that currently though, right?
me.
We're going to wait. I'm going to wait until we get the consultants on board to look at this top to bottom.
Before you doing reducing of hours or anything like that, right?
I'm not even going to preface any of that. We're going to get people in place to study top to bottom, soup to nuts, what the services are and what the needs are within the county for the coming future.
Saying that we are automatically going to move to a cut of hours, I would say that's a premature statement, at least for this commissioner. I think I want
And
to
then-
understand what the director's going to tell us.
And before any cuts of hours go forward, you'd bring it in front of the public and have public discussion on it and vote on it, correct?
I would
Or
certainly.
would it just be an administrative thing you would do in the background?
I would certainly like to have an opportunity to discuss it in public, but again, that's,
Commissioner Miller, do you feel the same way?
Feel the same way about?
Discussing it in public before making any changes?
We will discuss it among the board and we will decide what the future is.
That would be in public,
It's
correct?
gotta be discussed in public. You should write fictional novels, you'd be terrific.
I want to implore everybody to understand. We have to talk, we're talking to the staff to get information on this. The suggestion that there's some commitment to cut it to 45 hours, that is not accurate.
I will tell you that I fully support going to 45 hours. Having said that, you've got to fit the staffing needs in there. It's going to be data driven. As far as an employee telling me what their wants or desires are is one piece of it. The data and the information, the budget and the usage are all a whole other matter, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of.
Nobody should get the impression that we are going to be cutting hours absolutely. The suggestion that we're going to just automatically cut hours to a certain number, I am not there.
But the staffing is very critical to make sure, again,
That there's
properly staffed and it's safe. Because remember, the Bradford County Library sits out the country. And you cannot just have one person.
Whatever the future may hold will be informed by the process of the information we receive after we hire an advisor through the RFP. So that's going to tell us a lot more information.